That's that she used notes because I'm going to use some myself. One day, about 3 growing seasons back, I walked through the gate at Benjamin Banneker Elementary School. Just so happened the gate was open. The link fence surrounds the playground, big enough for a fair-sized baseball diamond, several basketball posts with hoops and nets and jungle gym equipment. And across the field is a big row of swings. And I had come to see the Episcopal Schoolyard Garden. 8th grade garden beds I had heard about from a next-door a few months before in the jewel room. There she was, surrounded by students. Can't say why, but I jumped right in. My strategy was just pick up the trowel and copy what everyone else was doing. I'm not a gardener. In fact, it was a long time before I understood the language of the garden. A year or so later, Miss Dorothy asked me what prompted you to walk through the gate that day. Half kidding, I said, I just read that quote from Thoreau where he cautions us to beware of enterprises that require new clothes. And I figure I already had the garden clothes thing covered. Per Thoreau, I could stay true to my authentic self, be outdoors, and dig in the dirt with the students. It felt like a great fit for me. Back home, I claimed a few of my husband's shirts, grabbed my worn-out jeans, and instantly invented the garden garb that I still wear in the garden today. I was on the vestments committee several decades ago, so I did learn that certain accoutrements can elevate joyful experience. Hence, I can hardly recommend kneelers for the lay weeder, and they can do double duty if there's actual need for prayer, for rain, or the rain to stop. Or in the case of this year's cucumbers, thy will be done. Likewise, garden clogs are a boon for the holy waters, and garden gloves are a win any day. Truthfully, though, there was something else that guided me through the garden gate that day. It must be, it is, a universal truth that within each of us is a yearning, maybe a calling, to join in what my own dad always called the upward march. It's an inborn desire to do something to help someone on what he always called the divine journey. My mom's phrase was to brighten the corner, or as a friend says, to further the cause. It's interesting how we all recognize that spark no matter what we call it. Sometimes it's not easy to know how to jump in, so today we're sharing our stories, hoping that maybe they will be helpful as you seek your own path to reaching out to outreach. Once you do, it won't even take you a single day before you realize that the flow goes both ways. Maybe outreach should be called in and outreach. So, what is the Edible Schoolyard Gardening Program all about? I was hoping you'd ask me. I found this short sentence written by a local schoolyard gardener, and I just had to share it with you. Gardening increases awareness and access to fresh and healthy fruits and vegetables and engages students in learning that can be tasted and touched. That is a great description of our mission in the garden. Sometimes people call what we teach seed-to-seed gardening. It's one of the first things that even our youngest students learn in the garden, and I had to learn it too. Luckily, it has a pantomime to help us remember the steps in order. I'm going to try for that right now. The seed is planted in the ground. Pretty soon, roots will be found. Up will come a sprout, a stem and leaves, and the flower will be out. Then the flower will become a seed pod. Eventually, you can take the seeds and start the whole cycle again. Pretty miraculous. I thought you might enjoy taking a little talking tour of the garden with me. A typical class might start off with a walk around the garden to investigate everything that has happened since last week, which is usually a lot. We ask, what can we discover today? We let students know that this is their garden and remind them that as guardians, they are the guardians of the gardens, and it's theirs to take care of and also to enjoy. And we have garden etiquette. A few rules like no running in the garden, or let's not step into the raised beds. And almost everything requires teamwork and cooperation. This season, our students work side by side as Sandra and John Henney, who are parishioners at St. Andrews, guided the planting of a brand new butterfly garden. In early spring, putting up a net trellis for peas turned into a showcase for problem-solving skills. Decision-making is ongoing. Where should we plant this? Does this plant thrive in the sun or shade? How far apart do we plant the seeds? But hands down, nothing beats the magic of harvesting and tasting. It starts with a daily radish, tomato, carrot, or string bean, gleaned from a bush or pulled straight from the ground, then washed and ready for tasting at picnic tables by the hedge. Tasting gives us the chance to discern flavors. What describes the taste of a radish? One student might say peppery, another might call it bitter. The students use the adjectives and supply them for us. Tasting also encourages them to try new things. A cucumber stick can be a caddy for hummus. A squeeze of lemon or ranch dressing can make kale a go-to. And don't forget the herbs. Mint, dill, tarragon, we have many more. And there's actually a favorite plant at Banneker, garden sorrel. Some students call it the sour plant. It's tart and lemony, works well in salads and salsas, but apparently it tastes best all by itself. The grand finale of every growing season is the sweet potato harvest, usually on a crisp fall day. It starts with a big dig and then proceeds to washing the dirt off some giant sweet potatoes, requiring tub after tub of fresh water to be refilled constantly. Heavy work, lots of action, lots of moving parts. In the days to come, the hard work will be rewarded with a tasting of fresh sweet potato fries baked in the cafeteria. Many thanks to the Banneker cafeteria staff, they have adopted us and been true champions of our cause. There is an old saying that says you have to go there to know there. It applies here. I think everyone should experience the exuberance of sweet potato harvest. One of the best things about volunteering at Banneker is that you instantly become part of the local gardening community. We are one of many schoolyard gardens in the area, guided and inspired by the mission of the Kansas City Community Gardens, which luckily for us is just a few blocks away in Swope Park. We buy most of our seeds and bedding plants there, plus we get advice and support from their team, and we take advantage of their classes, such as vegetable garden basics and what's bugging you. Because yes, bugs are an area of intense delight for our students. That great quote about hands-on gardening that I shared earlier was taken from their KCCG August newsletter. The schoolyard gardening program starts with the basics, but it's not a stretch to imagine our students pursuing future studies and maybe one day finding sustainable and environmentally friendly ways to feed the community or even the planet. There are lots of things I would never have learned, but mostly people I would never have met if I never walked through the gate that day. Just last week, we made a new friend in the first grade class. In the bean bed, my small group spotted a praying mantis, which we hastily transferred to a container. FYI, this is a precaution taken more to protect the bug than the students. A little boy standing next to a teacher was crying. We never found out why, but his tears prompted me to ask if he would like to be the one to hold the container. He nodded his yes. Everyone clamored around to observe the praying mantis, while our delighted young student beamed. In fact, we all did. Later, we carefully rehomed the praying mantis to her habitat. Sounds small, but it was an unforgettable first day for this first grade class in the garden. We watch epiphanies and victories unfold like this almost every day. And of course, I want to write about all of them and share them with you. But then I realized that the pictures on the screen are already telling the stories. Turns out a picture is worth 1,000 words. On a hot day in July, we were doing some weeding as the heat index jumped over 100 degrees. The weeds were winning, and we were wondering, would this be a time to pay someone to come and help us weed? But that would make for some pretty high-priced business. And that's what reminded me of a fish story. A friend of mine goes fishing in Canada pretty often with his fishing buddies. After airfare, fishing licenses, renting the boat, hiring the guide, they actually catch a lot of fish, which then is processed into separate portions, packed in dry ice, and shipped home. Of course, I am practical enough to point out that by the time the fish gets to Kansas City, it probably costs a fortune. His smile told me that I missed the point. Instead of pricey, it's priceless. You could probably say the same thing about our vegetables. The biggest currency in the garden is time, seconded by energy, which I call sweat equity. And even we have occasionally joked we could probably buy our potatoes and realize the savings. But we love that we have a teaching garden. Everything is tailor-made, every day, for every season, for every class. That's what makes it priceless. So when my friend's mathematical equation starts making good sense to you, you have made a remarkable leap, and most likely a great investment of your time and energy. The Banneker Garden has turned out to be everything that can be hoped for in a successful outreach program. We are engaging with our students, appreciated by the administration and staff, and connecting with the community. We have one of the best challenges you could ask for. We could add more classes, we could reach more deeply into the community, but to do that we need more people. It seems most of us don't have a lot of time, but by the same token, most of us have some time. Volunteering should not feel like an endurance test. Maybe we should think of it more of a relay race instead of a race. Run your lap and then pass the baton to the next runner, and so on. Think of it as supporting the journey by sharing the journey. Come as you are. Meet us where we are. The gate is open. Thank you.